Hi. Hi, everybody. Hey, right? Hi, my name's Randi Rose. I am a co-founder of Thrive Business Services, and what we are is a cloud-based bookkeeping company, and one of our specialties is the salon industry. So why am I up here? I've been working in the salon industry for 20 years. I don't know the first thing about technical, do not put a pair of scissors in my hand, and the day I learned how to use a round brush was a day that my life changed forever, okay? However, what I do know is I started in the industry for 10 years learning the back end of the industry of the finances. My background's accounting. And then from there, my background's also coaching. So as a trained business coach and as a trained life coach, I'm not here to compete with the other coaches. But because of my finance background and my accounting background, what I was able to do was I really have a good understanding of what the CPAs need, what the coaches need, and what the salon owners need. And that's a huge missing, because many of the people that I encounter wind up with financials that either A, they don't ever look at, B, they don't know what they're looking at when they look at it, C, they might be dealing with a CPA or a bookkeeper that does not understand their industry. So it's great for you to know how much your gross revenue is. But if you don't know how that's broken out between service sales, retail sales, sales tax payable, tip payable, gift certificate liability, and none of that is on your balance sheet, you got a problem. Because you could be having a quote unquote profitable business and still be working yourself into bankruptcy. And that's really where we come into play. So Thrive was formed, so like I said, I've been doing this for about 20 years in the industry. And I have the great fortune of being in business with my best friend, which is just phenomenal. We've been best friends for 20 years. And she has a background also with QuickBooks in training and setup and consulting people. So about 5 years ago, one of the leaders in the industry said to me, you know, there's a need. You guys really can make a big difference in this industry if you really start focusing on providing a service that's available to the salons, okay? I didn't want to do it myself. So I was like, okay. I called up my bestie. Hey, you want to do this with me? And she's like, sure. So that's how Thrive formed. So for 5 years, we've been doing this together. About a third of our business is this industry. We do serve other industries, but one of the things that we really do is have a great understanding of what all the players in the industry need. The other way that we're different is we really focus on technology. So we're here at the Data Driven Salon Summit. How many of you are noticing that technology has finally really caught up to your industry? Right? It's here, and it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Well, I might have a different widget than you do, but the same thing happened in my industry. Technology caught up to bookkeeping. You don't need a bookkeeper to do data entry. But you do, it makes a difference to have a bookkeeper that understands how to have all your different technologies talk to one another so that we can streamline you, so that you're spending your time on your high payoff, high value activities and not doing minutia that you don't need to do. We're not for everybody. Not everybody's really ready to jump into the cloud. Not everybody's ready to use an app for everything. But the purpose of this summit was for you to understand what all the resources were. So we work with a lot of the consultants and the coaches. We don't work with any one particular coach or consultant. We work with all of them. We work with all of the different software technologies out there. We have clients that use Forest and, God, I'm drawing a blank. So whether it's Forest or Millennium or Mevo or Booker or Mindbody or Vagara or whatever, we work with all of them. We really understand what needs to come out of that system to go into your system. You're still going to use your salon program for all of your metrics coming in for you to grow your team. That's not our job. If you haven't quantified your business and your coach doesn't have good information to work with, you're going to be identifying things that are not there and strategizing to come solutions for things that don't exist because you're not looking at real information. We really want you to look for real information. So I'm going to tell you a couple stories about a couple of different clients. How many are like, yeah, please? Right? And here's the thing, I could go into metrics from like the dollar value, but really here's, for me, and Steve Gomez said this earlier, numbers tell a story. And for me, the numbers aren't about the numbers, it's what it makes available. So we had a client that came to us from a non-industry specific coach, right? So she was getting business coaching and she had grown her business, but there was just something off and they couldn't figure out what it was. So he's like, here, you guys need to take a look at the books and let's go see. So we take a look at the books and we discovered a couple things. One, they weren't set up so that they could actually see that they have two separate businesses under their roof. So they didn't have their income broken out into the different categories of service and retail. Well, that was problem number one. Number two, their inventory wasn't being captured correctly. That's problem number two. So and the other thing that we did is we then streamlined our system and we had her go paperless. So we were actually able to have her go paperless, not have to deal with any of that clutter, and have her information available at the tips of her fingers. Great. She then had two huge ahas, right? So we saw two things. Once we got her information accurate, what we did was we were like, you need more education. We sent her to some industry-specific education. We recommended it to her. I was like, here, you should go here. She did that education. That's where the ahas came from. The first thing that she noticed was she actually now knew what it was going to take for her business, the two different pieces of her business, to be effective and to be profitable. She also saw that she wasn't really interested in doing the work. Not because she didn't love doing hair, but that was no longer her passion to do all of the work that it would have taken for her to get to her business to produce what she needed it to produce. So she had a choice, right? It wasn't that I suggested to her that she leave the industry, but that was a choice that was available to her because she then had real information to make that decision. It was not an emotional decision she was making. She was able to make an educated and informed decision. And so she did that. But here was the second thing that was really cool. How many of you have ever had to sell a business, buy a business, know somebody that sold a business, bought a business, and thought the experience was a joy? Right? Sucks. Okay, well, because she had such accurate information and it was so timely, within 4 months, her business was sold. And it was a seamless process. And it was not a stressful process. And it wasn't stressful because she had information. So when the business broker looked at the books, there was no question about what he was looking at. We had a great relationship with the CPA, so that the CPA knew that the information that they were looking at was also really great. It was a non-issue. The point is that she was able to then live her best life, right? It wasn't about us. It was about that she was able to live her best life. I don't come to this industry for it to be about me. I'm really clear that the information, numbers are not about numbers. And I am a numbers nerd to the nth degree, right? But for me, it's about heart. This industry is all about heart. So the other client I want to tell you about was someone that we did meet through business education for this industry. And she came to us. And how many of you have ever had like something that really took you out? Or know somebody that's been really taken out? There are things that can take you out, whether it be death, divorce, it doesn't really matter, right? Well, this person happened when we came upon them. We discovered that they hadn't filed their taxes in 10 years. Right? I get the fun ones. Really, I get the fun ones. Okay. We create a safe space for people. You know, how many of us have had something happen where all of a sudden we put our head in the ground and we don't want to look at it and we just kind of hope if we ignore it, it'll go away. It doesn't go anywhere, right? So we got to deal with that. So how did we do this with her? We created a plan. What we did was we got our books clean for the current year because knowing her information from 10 years ago wasn't going to help her make effective decisions today. And then we introduced her to a really kind accountant. And he was able to be really great with her, very non-judgmental. And he said, great, let's eat this elephant one bite at a time. In her case, it was 1 year at a time, but you get the point, right? And so then we just kind of work backwards, one piece at a time, one piece at a time, one piece at a time. The numbers are a valuable thing. Coaching is one of the best things that people could ever do for themselves. I'm a huge proponent. I've been dealing in the coaching world for 28 years. I think coaching's phenomenal. But if the coach doesn't have good information to work with, then you are not gonna be able to make a good strategy. And really, this is about what's life about. So at Thrive, we have a team of 8 people. So what it looks like to work with us is we do a complete discovery on you, and we take a look and see what you need. And then we work with you to create an actual plan of having every month we will meet with you with review your financials and explain to you what they look like, so you actually have an understanding of not just your P&L, but also your balance sheet, and understand how they connect. We will work connectedly with your coach to make sure that the coach has everything the coach needs. We will work with your CPA to make sure that the CPA has what they need. And we make sure that you are very well connected to your numbers. And if there's something that you need, what we make sure is we'll refer you to it. We know our wheelhouse. We're good with our wheelhouse. And for those of you that, if you're interested in finding out more about it, we completely offer, watch, you're gonna go through my entire, there's my presentation. I decided, skip the PowerPoint. But as a tech company, I set up a link for you, so that if you wanna really schedule a discovery call, please go on our website, discover it with me, find out more about it. If we are not the right fit, or you know somebody, we will let you know that. We'll be straight about it, and we'll let you know where we think that you ought to go and what we think the best recommendation for you is. Our goal is to be a resource. So thank you very much for your time. Steve, thank you for setting this up. I am thrilled that this community is this collaborative. Thank you.